Like John McCain, I'm a believer in providing more school choice for families. And the responsibility for the welfare of children rests ultimately with mothers and fathers. And the power to choose should be theirs as well. But this larger debate of public policy should not be permitted to hinder the progress of special needs students, where their lives and their futures, their happiness is at stake. We should have no agenda except to ease the path that they are on. And the best way to do that is to give their parents options. In a McCain-Palin administration, we'll also fully fund the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Finally, it will be fully funded. It was to his great credit that President Gerald Ford signed the legislation that became the IDEA into law, establishing new standards of respect and inclusion for young Americans with disabilities. And from that day to this, however, the federal government's obligations under the IDEA have not been adequately met. And portions of IDEA funding have actually decreased since 2005. The size of the government is growing, the federal budget is growing, of course, and yet that aspect, that portion of the budget has actually been shrinking since 2005. So this is a matter of how we prioritize the money that we spend. The public dollars that we already have and are spending, this is a matter of reprioritizing. We've got a $3 trillion budget in this country, and Congress spends some $18 billion on earmarks for their political pet projects, and that right there is more than the shortfall to fully fund IDEA. Where does a lot of that earmark money end up anyway? You guys have heard some of the examples of where those dollars go. You've heard about the bridges, and you've heard about some of these pet projects that really don't make a whole lot of sense. And sometimes these dollars, they go to projects having little or nothing to do with the public good. Things like fruit fly research in Paris, France. I kid you not. Or a public policy center named for the guy who got the earmark. In our administration, you're going to see reprioritization there. You're going to see reform and refocus. And we're going to get our federal priorities straight and fulfill our country's commitment to give every child opportunity and hope in life. And for many parents of children with disabilities, the most valuable thing of all is information. Early identification of a cognitive or other disorder, especially autism, it can make a life-changing difference, that early diagnosis. And that's why we're going to strengthen NIH, the National Institute of Health. We're going to work on long-term cures for these, I don't want to call them diseases even, but we're going to work on these long-term cures. And in the short term, we're going to work on giving these families better information. Once a condition is known, parents, you know that you need then the best and latest information on what to expect then and how to respond. And this service is also provided for under the IDEA. What we've got to make sure is that every family has a place to go for support and medical guidance. And the existing programs and community centers focus on school-aged children, sometimes, though, overlooking the need for assistance before school age. So we'll focus on this also. It would make a lot more sense for these centers to focus as well on infants and toddlers. And this is not only a critical stage for diagnosis, but it can be the crucial time to prepare the family for all that may lie ahead. Families need to know what treatments are most effective and where they're available and what costs they're going to face and where aid can be found and where they can turn to for the advice and the support of others in their situation. As Todd and I and Heather know, what we have found out is there's no substitute for the friendship and networking of those who have been where we are now. So the IDEA, it's also intended to serve teens and young adults with special needs. And here, too, there is an opportunity to reform and to extend the reach of federal support under IDEA. By modernizing a current law, the Vocational Rehabilitation Act, we can better serve students with disabilities in our high schools and our community colleges. And this will require reform by our 50 states as well. Just as the federal government expects proven results in the progress of other students, we must require results as well in the achievements of students with disabilities. And the result we will expect is simple: that every special needs student be given a chance to learn the skills to work and to enjoy the freedom to live independently if that is their choice. As families across America know, the care of special needs children requires this long-term planning. Now, it requires also especially financial planning. A common practice among these families is to establish financial trusts to start taking care of this aspect. These are known as special needs trusts, covering years of medical and other costs. And for parents, they bring invaluable comfort and security.
And there you have it, Sarah Palin talking about special needs children and what needs to be done to help them. She is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Obviously, that's a critical state for the McCain campaign as well as the Obama camp, more so McCain, according to the latest electoral map projections. This is her first major policy address, folks. You could see the governor getting emotional at times. Understandably, she has a special needs child, tearing up at the beginning when she talked about her own child and what every parent of a special needs child goes through, talking about how she and her husband Todd are not scared anymore, that they know that they will learn far more from their child Trig than they will learn from him. Of course, Trig has Down syndrome. You could hear babies crying in the audience. That's because there's an audience of about 350 special needs families there, including some who brought their children, talking about how important it is for children to be able to go to the school of their choice, special needs children, and saying we should have no agenda but to ease the path that these young children are already on. By the way, it looks like she's got herself a new pair of glasses. Am I wrong? I'm just noticing, because those are her glasses have become a signature piece of her look. In any event, we've already gotten a lot of beautiful emails from our viewers saying how touched they were by this speech. Parents who have special needs children of their own, I know that meant a lot to them. So thanks for being here for those remarks. Now that she gets deep into the policy, we're going to dip out for a little bit. We're listening, and as she makes news, we'll bring it to you. Yeah.